Hey, I'm Devesh, and if you own a truck or you're thinking about buying one, this channel is going to save you thousands of dollars. Every week, we break down the things dealers, automakers, and the government don't want you to know, hidden scams, engineered failures, and the real truth behind the trucks Americans depend on. No fluff, no sponsored opinions, just straight facts that put the power back in your hands. Hit subscribe, because the next video might be the most important one you watch before your next truck purchase. The average American blue-collar worker now has to spend over 10 months of their gross salary just to buy the average new pickup truck. And Ford, GM, and Ram want you to think that's completely normal. It isn't. In 2010, you could walk into a Ford dealership and drive home in an F-150 for around $26,000. Today, that same truck, same basic body-on-frame design, same four wheels, same bed in the back, starts at $39,000 on the low end and climbs past $80,000 before you're done clicking options on the website. A Lariat trim that ran you $34,000 back in 2015 is now pushing $75,000. That's a $41,000 jump in less than a decade. And here's what they've been telling you. It's steel costs, it's supply chains, it's inflation, it's tariffs. All of that is a distraction, because the real reason trucks cost $80,000 has nothing to do with the price of steel. It has everything to do with one of the most sophisticated profit extraction strategies in the history of American manufacturing, and you're the target. Let's talk about the money first, because the numbers don't lie. Ford does not publicly break down profit by model. But we know from industry analysis that the F-Series generates more than 90% of Ford's global profits. Not 90% of truck profits, 90% of the entire company. Every sedan, every SUV, every electric vehicle Ford makes, almost all of it is subsidized by the F-150. GM is more transparent. According to investor disclosures, GM clears at least $17,000 in pre-tax profit per full-size truck. That's per truck. A mid-size sedan? Somewhere around $2,200 in profit. So when you buy a Ram 1500 Limited that stickers at $68,000, somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 of that purchase price is pure margin going straight to the automaker, not the dealer, not the supply chain. The manufacturer. Now think about what they've done with that information. They've used it to build a machine designed to squeeze every dollar out of you. The first mechanism is something the industry doesn't like to talk about out loud, and that's the deliberate hollowing out of the base trim. Go look at the 2025 Ford F-150 XL. It starts at $39,330. It has crank windows in some configurations, manual seats, a basic audio system, rubber floors, the tiny 4-inch display screen. Ford makes that truck hideous on purpose. They don't want to sell it. It exists to anchor the pricing, to make the Lariat at $55,000 look reasonable by comparison. The XL is bait, the Lariat is the trap. And here's how they spring it. The features you actually want, the backup camera, the adaptive cruise control, the heated seats, the bigger touchscreen, they don't let you buy those individually. You have to buy the package. And the package only comes on the next trim up. And that trim only comes with the engine you want if you add another package. Before you know it, you're $15,000 above where you started, staring at a truck that's still missing 3 things you wanted. That's not accidental. Automotive analysts call this trim strategy the most under-discussed lever in pricing. You pay for a bundle because they won't sell you the piece. And they designed it that way. Ram does it too. The 2025 Ram 1500 starts at $41,415. But 5 of the 8 available trims cost more than $65,000 once you load them up with the options buyers actually want. The Bighorn sounds like a solid working truck. By the time Ram's done guiding you through the option packages, the Sport Appearance Package, the Level 2 Equipment Group, the Trailer Tow Package, the Bedliner, the Wheel Upgrade, you're $15,000 deeper than you planned. The Chevrolet Silverado runs the same play. Every single one of them does. And the automakers have data on this. They know exactly what percentage of buyers who start on the XL end up in the Lariat. They know what triggers a buyer to click up. They know how many people say I wasn't going to get the sunroof, and then get the sunroof because it was bundled with the sound system they actually wanted. This isn't guesswork. It's behavioral economics deployed against you with a $60,000 price tag attached. Now let's talk about technology, because this is where it gets genuinely infuriating. Go back to 2014, the 5 best-selling full-size trucks in America averaged $36,808 at base MSRP. By 2024, that same group averaged $55,671. That's an $18,900 increase in 10 years. Automakers will tell you that jump is because trucks are more capable, more advanced, more loaded with safety technology than ever before, and they're partially right. But here's the part they skip. The features you're paying for were not engineered primarily for your benefit. The 360-degree camera system, the 14-inch touchscreen, the 12 different driver assist modes, the automatic lane keeping, the blind spot monitoring, the parking assist. These features cost somewhere between $500 and $1,500 to manufacture per vehicle. but they add $3,000 to $6,000 to the sticker price because they've been repositioned as luxury. They went from being safety equipment to being selling points. And now they're only available on mid and upper trims, which means if you want a backup camera and blind spot monitoring on your Ram 1500, you're buying into a trim level that also comes with a leather-wrapped steering wheel and ambient lighting you never asked for. Meanwhile, about 49% of all newly launched truck models are integrating driver assist technologies as standard features on upper trims, which sounds great until you realize that means 51% still gatekeep basic safety features behind a paycheck. And then there's the software play. This one barely gets talked about, and it should make every truck owner furious. GM's OnStar connected services now run between $9.99 and $64.99 per month depending on your plan. You want Super Cruise, GM's hands-free highway driving system. That's $64.99 a month on top of the $70,000 plus you already spent to buy the truck. Ford Pro's connected services run a similar model, a free trial period, then an annual subscription required to keep the features you thought you paid for. Ram's Uconnect subscription costs around $259 a year for their mid-tier plan. You get a trial period when you buy the truck, and then the meter starts running. Think about that. You bought the hardware. The truck already has the chips, the sensors, the antennas built in, but the functionality is locked behind a recurring payment. This is the same model Tesla pioneered, selling you a car with heated rear seats already physically installed, then charging you a monthly fee to turn them on. Ford, GM, and Ram watched that and said, "We want in on that." This is the future of truck ownership. A $75,000 truck that nickels and dimes you $20 a month to keep features working that you already paid to install. Now here's the part where the narrative gets complicated. The tariffs. You've heard it from the news. You've heard it from dealers. Steel tariffs, aluminum tariffs, supply chain disruptions, semiconductor shortages, all real, all genuine costs. The 2018 round of steel and aluminum tariffs did cost consumers an estimated $1.4 billion per month. More recent tariff rounds in 2025 pushed steel and aluminum prices even higher. These are real inputs into the cost of building a truck. But here's the thing they don't tell you. Steel is not the primary cost driver in a modern pickup truck. A full-size truck uses roughly 1,800 to 2,200 pounds of steel in its structure. At current prices, even accounting for tariff premiums, the steel in your truck costs somewhere between $1,400 and $2,200 per vehicle. That's it. A $20,000 price increase since 2015 cannot be explained by a $1,000 swing in steel costs. Not even close. Tariffs are real, tariffs are a legitimate issue, but automakers use tariff news as cover to raise prices faster and further than the actual cost increase justifies. They learned that trick during COVID. When the semiconductor shortage hit in 2021, trucks sold above MSRP across the country. Dealers were adding $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 in ADM, additional dealer markup, on vehicles that were already expensive. Ford Lightning buyers were seeing $30,000 markups. A $70,000 truck became a $100,000 truck overnight, and the market paid it. Because demand was high, supply was low, and nobody was stopping them. That taught the industry a lesson. Consumers have a higher price ceiling than anyone expected, so the price floor moved up and never came back down. Here's the number that puts all of this in perspective. Between 2014 and 2024, the average truck price rose 53.1%. In that same period, average blue-collar wages rose 38.7%. Truck prices are rising 40% faster than the wages of the people who buy trucks. In 2023, for the first time in American automotive history, the average new truck price was equal to an entire year's gross salary for the average blue-collar worker. Construction workers, one of the higher-earning blue-collar groups, now need more than 10.5 months of gross pay to buy the average truck, up from 9.5 months in 2014. A consulting partner at Planta Moran said it plainly, "We're now relying on the extremely wealthy to generate the sales. It's a structural problem from an affordability perspective." The market is shrinking. The people who built their lives around trucks, contractors, farmers, tradespeople, ranchers, are getting priced out. And the automaker's response hasn't been to bring prices down. It's been to go even further up market. The Ram 1500 Limited, the F-150 Platinum, the Silverado High Country. These are $70,000 plus trucks with wood trim and panoramic sunroofs, aimed at buyers who don't put a single thing in the bed. The truck has become a luxury status symbol, and the working guy who actually needs one is left to figure out how to finance a vehicle that costs more than his annual income. Let me connect all the dots for you, because this is the full picture. Ford, GM, and Ram make anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 per truck in profit margin. They design base trims to be deliberately undesirable, then package the features you actually want so you have to step up 2 trim levels to get them. The technology they bundle into upper trims costs a fraction of what they charge for it. Software features that are already built into the hardware get put behind monthly subscriptions. Tariffs and supply chain costs are used as PR cover to justify price hikes that go far beyond what those costs actually demand. And when all of that isn't enough, the dealer can tack on their own markup before you even sit down to negotiate. Every part of the system is designed to extract maximum money from you, not to build the best truck they can for the best price they can, to find the ceiling of what you'll pay and push you toward it. So what do you do about it? You start by recognizing that the base trim, as ugly as they make it, is still a real truck. The XL still tows. The tradesman still hauls. If your use cases work, not status, the base truck does the work. Second, you learn to negotiate on the trim, not the package. If you know which specific features you want, you can often get a dealer to match you on a lower trim that has those features factory installed, rather than paying for a whole upper trim bundle. Third, you skip the subscription tech. Those connected services features, most of them have free alternatives via your phone. You do not need to pay $35 a month to your truck manufacturer to get directions or check your tire pressure remotely. And fourth, and I mean this, you buy last year's model. A 2024 truck sitting on a dealer lot in 2025 is already depreciated 10% to 15% from new. You get the same truck for thousands less. Dealers hate moving last year's inventory. That's your leverage. The truck market is broken. The pricing is broken. But broken markets create opportunities for informed buyers, and that's exactly what this channel is here to build. Drop a comment right now. What's the single feature you bought a higher trim to get, only to find you barely use it? Because I guarantee you're not alone. If this opened your eyes to what's actually happening at the dealership, hit that like button and share this with every truck owner you know. They need to hear it before their next purchase. And make sure you're subscribed, because next week, we're getting into the engineered failure schedules automakers build into their trucks. The specific mileage points where things break, on purpose. You're not going to want to miss that one. This is your truck, your money, your call. Make sure you know what you're actually paying for.